Just a robot.
Oh man, this Tobi drama is just too much. I ought to stay out of this and talk about something else.
Today's special guest is the only robot that is in the commentary community. He have stopped fights on Discord about Dragon Ball. He is always late on a trendy subject and jumps onto them when they are dead. That of course is just a robot.
No! I'm not letting you quit on Harsh and Nani just because you're scared of the mob.
I don't think I can do anything, Jar-senpai. All that will happen is they will come for my ass next.
That's funny. I remember saying the same thing to you about a certain green lizard.
Fair point, but I don't want to fuck it up. Like you did.
Oi!
However, I do think we need one more person. Who was that girl that did the MLP vid with us?
You mean Butters? I already hit her up to jump in, just in case you chickened out.
I'm joining in because Tobi is my friend. Why are you guys doing any of this?
Because I felt like something was off with this whole thing.
I'm here against my will. Hooray! Is this even worth making a video about? I thought I was done with drama.
We'll be starting with Kai's commentary on harsh opinions.
So, Mango, I have a question for you. When you do a commentary on a video, and you add your own stuff to it, what happens?
The video has 2 people in it now?
Holy shit, you're dumb. The video gets longer. Harsh's video was over 40 minutes long, and Kai's commentary was under 20, meaning he cut out a lot.
This video starts off with a message saying, please don't attack anyone mentioned in this video. But looking at Harsh's video, it got a ton of dislikes, and some of the worst hate comments I have ever seen. And yes, if you look at the comments, you can clearly tell they didn't even watch the video.
I really don't want to get into the topic of the race comments because that's a whole other can of worms that really didn't need to be fucking open.
Okay, first off, yikes. Second, you're right. Tobi isn't a mind reader, but neither is Omnia. Also, notice how both of us are speaking on their behalves right now? Just wanted to point that out. Omnia may have consented to the conversation, but she could not have expected Tobi to go on a rant about racism versus racial insensitivity. Also, a can of worms that didn't need to be fucking opened? You're a white woman. Who are you to say that? That can of worms is open for me and Omnia both, every day of our lives as black people. If that BLM in your Twitter name meant anything, you would know how foolish it is to say this.
Who are you, as a white woman, to say this? Shut the fuck up, bro. That is actually racist. A black man can say what he wants, just like a white girl. Also, she isn't white, she's mixed. She even said, I don't want to get into the topic of the race comments. So as a quote-unquote white woman, she doesn't want to get into it. You can never appease these victim cults. You get into something, they're offended. You don't want to get into something, they're still offended. People in Harsh's comments are attacking her for the can of worms comment, demanding that she apologizes to Kai. They're acting like it's the worst thing to say to a black person. Who are you as a man to tell a woman what she can and cannot say? See, I can do it too.
So let's get this out of the gate. I didn't know who Tobi was before this whole debacle went down. I'm probably sure I'm gonna get chewed out or be told that I'm some kind of boomer for sticking my nose in this situation. But guess what? When a good number of videos are put out on the net, it makes it public game. That's kind of the point. When someone makes a video online, you're allowed to have an opinion on the situation. Just because people keep saying, oh, you cannot enter this because it doesn't concern you, the fact that you made it public makes it fair game to talk about. That's something that people seem to not understand. Should we not have talked about things when Slazzo got accused of bad things with his girlfriend? Should we not have talked about Spoctor when he got accused? Note that my examples are only used to say that we are allowed to talk about these sorts of issues. Sorry, I am getting ahead of myself.
Before we begin, I'm going to say this. Opinions expressed by Manga and Jar about Tobi do not reflect my own. They are both entitled to their opinions, however. I'm here because I care about Tobi a lot. I know she struggles when she's under immense pressure, and I'm just here to figure out both what's going on and try to help by covering the topic. So, recently in the... What the hell kind of community would you... The art commentary community?
I suppose that works. In the art commentary community, there was buzz about a creator called Tobi who apparently can't take criticism, and I can see the reason why. There was a video by a creator called Omnia who worked with Kai West criticizing Tobi, and to be honest, I can't disagree with a lot of their points. I think it is a strong video. But I do think that some of the points were blown out of proportion, along with some points being, well, questionable in execution. To point out, I am not defending Tobi in this, nor do I think she was smart in this entire situation. But considering how people have acted throughout this situation, anyone who actually decides to critique or commentate or criticize Kai or Omnia in any sort of way, they're seen as villainized. Hell, when I left a positive comment on Kai's video and talked to him as a person, I actually got lambasted because people decided to think that I was being disrespectful to him, even though, if you look at the comment, I wasn't.
Then again, Tobi's response to that was... like, there was way too much emotion put into that video. It was an overly emotional response that started off in the worst way possible, along with an inflated ego.
Tobi, whenever you address detractors, you need to throttle yourself, otherwise you'll come off as an egomaniac. That's just going to get more people agitated and being unwilling to listen. Even if it was a joke, people on the internet tend to take jokes uber serious unless they're blatant. And even then, people are still idiots on the internet and will take said jokes seriously. There's also the use of BPD in the video as off-putting, and the lack of actual substance in your video to respond to the criticisms levied at you left a very sour taste in my mouth. All this is going to do is get more people to go against you, and that's actually happening as I speak. And I know that it's for the standard fare for YouTubers to either ignore controversies, give cheap apologies, or blow up like a wrecking ball, but this was the worst option that you could have taken.
TLDR, Tobi, you just threw more gasoline into this garbage fire. But that doesn't mean that we don't have issues with the two people who tossed the gasoline onto the small spark.
Omnia and Kai, you're like a spring-loaded pair of boxing gloves. When people dare to even question you, or even dare to be skeptical about your arguments, your responses are less than stellar. Also, it's a little egocentric to just assume people are talking about you. Like when you both got on the case of Mad Libs because you both thought she was talking about you two. When you two were too rash not to check the dates. Your video came out on the 19th and the tweet here is the 16th. Dumbass.
What the fuck? How the hell do you screw that up? The fact that both of you blew up over this situation on a tweet that didn't even address you at all kind of makes me feel like you're afraid of criticism yourselves.
And to be fair, both of them realized this, and in a follow-up video, Kai actually admitted to this. But this was a bit of a red flag to us, that you yourselves would get uber defensive on the matter just because people would question you in your videos. I understand wanting to defend yourselves, but healthy skepticism is something that you'll have to be prepared for if you want to continue on this kind of content, because detractors will always be a thing, and you can't be sniping at people like this. Again, I understand they both apologize for this, but just because someone has apologized, it doesn't mean that they can't learn from this situation or be criticized for it. Lest you turn into...
Then there's the response to this gem. So Harsh Opinions made a response to Kai's follow-up video, which I suggest you guys check out, since it does have an interesting response to Kai, but what I find funny is the response from Kai in that video's comment section.
I don't agree with a lot of this video. but I'm always open to different perspectives being out there. I appreciate your take on this, even if we stand on opposite sides. Not gonna lie, this kind of response irks me on a personal level. Because not only does harsh opinions make it clear in her video at the beginning that she isn't standing with Tobi, even criticizing her as well at the beginning, and saying that she's being neutral.
Not really an opposing side. She's a third party who, by her own decisions, finds you and Omnia on the same level as Tobi. And the fact that you took the route of not addressing anything in her video with your comment is really limp-wristed. It shows weakness in your argumentative skills. Which, hey, I can't say that I don't appreciate you not starting more drama at all, and not starting a slap fight in the comments. But at the same time, why even bother commenting if you aren't going to address anything? I could easily attribute that to your own videos on Tobi. Maybe it's just me, but I find these comments to be a bit too generic in response to some pretty big claims. Like, let's not address the fact that you and Omnia implied that Tobi could be a pedo. When you do that, it makes me and everyone else who knows about the situation look at you like you're dumb as a bucket of bricks. Because there's clearly a problem if you're tiptoeing around your fuck-up.
Yeah, you didn't use the exact words, but you heavily implied it. And that's something I do take issue with. Especially since the intelligence of your local drama seeker tends to be in the single digits. So you have to be very careful with your words, especially when talking about a subject like this.
Again, to be fair, you did say that you and Omnia don't think she's a pedo, but please, for the love of all that's holy, go through other script writing so you don't get people thinking that you're making an implication like that. You want an example on how to phrase this better in my opinion?
Toby, while that is a strong statement to make, and one that a lot of people will agree with, you need to be careful because in your past you yourself drew highly suggestive art of an underage anime character. People are going to look at that and make the correlation that you are being hypocritical, especially in today's social climate and how Twitter likes to rage about anything.
Saying that she's just as bad as the people she's talking about is language that gives off the mighty bad implication that she's one of them since she's just as bad. Not only does my example not come off as antagonistic, but it also makes it so I'm not making the implication and open myself up to slander. Although, just so people can be sure that I'm not on Tobi's side, I actually agree that what she did with Todoroki was dumb. That drawing of him without properly confirming that he's aged up as well as not doing proper research on the character, and that her excuses aren't really convincing me otherwise. I don't want people thinking that I'm defending Tobi, nor do I like her stuff with Shane Dawson. I think that was stupid too. I'm just making that clear since someone's gonna try to put that in my mouth because people have already done that. And I was just making jokes at the time.
Now, Tobi's point was that people who draw porn of kids are pedos. But Todoroki isn't a kid. He's 16, old enough to drive. The age of consent in most states is 16. Now, I understand a few of you might say that's basically the whole it's not pedophilia, it's a femophilia argument. Fine, I get that. But she didn't draw porn of him. I don't like the movie Cuties, but it isn't porn. Suggestive? Yes. Inappropriate? Yes. But porn? No. Also, she did it one time. Just once. Jesus Christ, get over yourselves. You're acting like she's Shadman and she does this all the time. No, she did it one time. She made a mistake, and that's it. Get over yourselves. And finally, we come to the leaked DMs. With the full context of what's revealed, it doesn't change what was said. However, there are a few issues.
You can't get mad when people question you, when you outright admit to cherry picking. Doesn't matter if after the fact you showed context, you still made a conscious effort to choose two specific points. And people will want to know what the context is. You can't get mad at people who are going to call you out on that.
And that leads to the next point. Using the DMs at all. And no, Omnia, this is not an acceptable response. Because I'm going to explain something from a legal side. There's an expectation of privacy when it comes to direct messages, since it's a system that, by design, is meant to be kept for more public discourse, i.e. private. Even then, having seen the DMs myself, There's nowhere in that conversation did you inform Tobi that this would be using the DMs publicly. I admit, she shouldn't be speaking out like this, especially to a stranger, but at the same time, that doesn't give you the right to actually leak the DMs.
This is legal stuff, and frankly, even if you disagree, this is still a stupid move on your part. And I know you're watching this, because I'm criticizing you right now. And seeing as how you reacted to people saying they were going to do a video on you, let us be completely blunt. You have shot your credibility!
Allow me to explain. By leaking the private conversation, any other chance you have to talk to someone you're going to be criticizing will be met with nothing but the cold shoulder. Because people won't be able to trust you since you're willing to leak these kinds of situations. If Tobi admitted a crime, yes, go for it. Expose her. Because that's good to do in your civic duty as a person.
But stuff like opinions, even stupid opinions that you might find offensive, that's a fat fucking nope.
That's really stupid, and something that shouldn't have been done. Why should anyone talk to you about anything going forward, when you've shown that you're willing to leak DMs about petty stuff like this? Again, you can disagree with us all you want. You can call me a white knight, a simp, even though I don't approve of Tobi's actions, and I don't care for how she treated some of her friends. But don't be surprised if no one you criticize wants to talk to you after this. You simply can't be trusted. Especially when you say lines like this.
Right now, I'm speaking to Madlib's Art and whoever else you're collaborating with on this supposed video y'all are making. Unless you're looking to end up like your little friend right here, just don't do it. You already look bad for getting yourself involved for no reason other than to do Tobi's dirty work. So just spare yourself the time and the inevitable tank in subscribers and just make some other video. I'm saying this for your own good. Take care of yourself.
Well, excuse me, princess.
First of all, you put it out there for the public, meaning anyone can give an opinion on the situation. They're not involved? Well, let's flip that. Why did you get involved, you dense-skulled leech? Tobi's dealings are her own, so why would you get involved in her situation? I'm not saying you can't, but yeesh. The mere thought that anyone could come to a different conclusion to you, or God forbid criticize you for how you acted during this situation is extremely hypocritical.
Again, to be fair, this was cut from her response from Tobi, but the fact that this was put in the final product anyway is kind of disgusting, and makes it seem like you can't take criticism either. You don't get to pull this kind of stunt when you put this situation out in the public, and invalidate criticism just because it's criticism levied against you.
Glass houses, that's all I'm saying.
I also didn't initially buy Kai's reasoning for this, although having talked to him, I do believe him a little bit more, but it's a little bit shaky still from my perspective.
The comment outright already pointed out that she already cut out the part. How could she make the changes in response to this comment when the comment itself already pointed out how the part was cut out? If this isn't the comment, I wouldn't know, because having searched the video's comments, I couldn't find it.
Now, that can be a number of things, like maybe Junkie is lying to me, maybe YouTube cut the comment itself out, maybe Omnia deleted the comment, maybe the alien that's controlling my brain shut off my eyes when I wasn't looking. Martin is kind of a dick in my brain. I do not know, nor am I actually going to die by this point if it turns out I'm wrong. Because the foundation itself is shaky as best, and I'm saying this to make it clear that this is only one point to bring up in confusion.
I still find Omnia's warning to be extremely stupid, and if Kai's telling the truth here, good on him for having some common sense, but Omnia thinking that kind of comment at all is a good idea in this situation is telling of you as a person, and makes you not only viewed as untrustworthy, but someone who's willing to attack people who may disagree with you.
There. We done?
I believe so. This whole thing got me riled up. I'm a bit glad it's over. If you guys don't mind, I'd love it if you'd come over and sub to my channel, FuchsiaButter. In fact, it'd be even more awesome if you go check out our previous collab the three of us did about a year ago.
Good. I've got better videos to make about some trash anime parody, and want to play some more NSR. Later.
Okay, now we get to my ending thoughts and why I jumped in on this whole thing. I didn't want to at first. This drama wasn't really my cup of tea. I was going to let Harsh Opinions, Nani, and whoever else wanted to jump on this bandwagon handle it. But when Kai made his response to Harsh, the amount of dislikes and the amount of hate comments she got was just not normal. I'm talking about Kai in this video right now. I'm several times his size. But I'm also telling people not to attack him, just like he did with Harsh. I highly doubt his video will get that many more dislikes. But he's only roughly twice the size of Harsh, and just look at the amount of dislikes she got. That is not normal. No one even commentated on Nani's video, and it also got a ton of dislikes and hate comments. Now, maybe Harsh's and Nani's videos were terrible, but I watched them both. They were just as calm and collective as they normally are. I just don't understand why so much backlash. A lot of the comments on both Nani and Harsh's video are on the lines of, "I used to be a fan of you, but you just disappointed me. This is your worst video yet." Or, "I'm new to this whole situation. I don't know what's going on, but to me you seem a little bit biased in Tobi's favor. Why didn't you talk about her?" I've been on the internet for a very long time, and these comments seem majorly sus. It could be that the Tobi haters are really rabid, or Kai and Omnia have a little Discord group and they're getting a whole bunch of people to do a coordinated trolling attempt. But that seems like too much of a conspiracy for my taste. Luckily, if you guys seen my Mr. Enter video, you guys would know I have a way of knowing who's commented on my videos before. So if I get a bunch of comments on this video from people saying, "I used to be a fan of you, but you disappointed me," I can check if they commented on any of my videos before this one. I think the comment that finally broke me and made me want to talk about this situation is this one right here. "I feel so bad for Kai and Omnia. Like, imagine the entire art community ganging up on you for making a valid criticism of someone." This is a top-rated comment on another video joining in on the whole Tobi drama. Let me ask you this. Is the entire art community ganging up on Kai and Omnia? Fuck no! Look at the videos made by Kai and Omnia. That's a very good like to dislike ratio. Now let's look at the rating on Harsh's and Nani's video. Oof! I wonder who people are gaining up on, guys. It's just too hard for me to tell. Also, Nani and Harsh are not the entire art community. You are delusional if you think they are. And before someone says, "Oh, come on, Jar, this is just one comment," it's the top-rated comment. The one thing I hope this video does is give the rest of the commentary community some backbone. I know a lot of you see the bullshit in this situation. Nani, make your video public again, and maybe make a part 2 while you're at it. Anyone else who wants to join in? Join in. If you want to criticize Tobi, go for it. But the amount of hate people will get for not defending Tobi, but criticizing people who criticize her, is outrageous. I don't really care about this Tobi situation, and I want this to be my first and last video about it. But if I have to make a part 2, then I will. My eyes have seen the glory of the cleansing of YouTube, debunking SJWs and feminazis too. We criticize reactionists in hopes they get the boot. Just a robot marches on.